You have to get out of that into the civil courts. So the judge said Schedule 3, and the Drug Enforcement Administration said, no way, we're not going to do that. And their rationale was so wrong. So we sued them in the appeals court. What they said initially was that only the FDA could make a drug into a medicine, not the DEA. But the law was clear that it could be the Attorney General could do that. So the appeals court, when they review agencies' decisions, they don't tell them what to do. They say, you did something wrong, now rethink it. So then the DEA said, okay, we're going to rethink it. And then they came up with a new reason why they were against it. And this was this 8-part standard that was essentially the same as the FDA. So then we sued them again the second time. And we won again in the appeals courts. And so they went back to the DEA and said, you have to come up with another rationale. This one doesn't work either.
Oh, my God.
And then they came up with a 5-part standard that was sufficiently different but still had phase 3 studies. So it's essentially the same as FDA approval. And finally, the courts upheld that. And that's, during this process, it was clear to me that the DEA would not do anything to make this available as a medicine, that we would have to go through the FDA. And that's where MAPS began as a nonprofit psychedelic pharmaceutical company focused entirely on donations, and the intention was to turn it into a generic drug. That because MDMA had been invented by Merck in 1912, it was in the public domain. It was used as a therapy drug before I even knew about it. And then it turned out that the emergency scheduling that DEA did in 1985 was itself illegal. It turned out that the Congress had given the Attorney General the power to emergency schedule drugs, but the Attorney General had never subdelegated that power down to the DEA. So they didn't have the authority to do that. So the people that got busted in the first year were all let go once their lawyers figured this out. So,
wow.
So the first move to criminalize MDMA was a crime, you could say.
Wow.